but that is a presentation where the child have difficulties in learning, in acquiring capacities, and maybe in getting introduced or integrated in the society. So it is something which is natural.
An unfounded view of Down syndrome creates an imaginary reality of despair and sadness, especially for those directly affected. However, children living with Down syndrome have hidden talents.
These children with Down syndrome, they have potentials. So it is just for us to identify the areas that they can be able to excel in, in doing one thing or the other. And then we develop those potentials so that they start seeing themselves. Because as I said earlier, empowerment is about making a child with Down syndrome, now in this case, to see him or herself as an important agent of change in the society, and for the society to also start seeing them in the same way. And that is why we provide, a little bit of financial assistance through our partner organizations to enable them send these children to schools so that they can be able to develop the potentials that are in them.
Well, we do basic training here, very basic training according to their level of ability. The Down syndrome, any of the ones that are here are on the low scale of intellectually challenged. And any of them that we feel can do better, we refer them to Futuro. But we've applied for funding to see can we set up proper workshops here to train them. But we have no funding to date. I've applied to a few places. And hopefully if we do get funding, then we'd have to get staff and equipment and train them at their level. They can never work alone. And we would love that we give them better training if we had funding for equipment and trained staff to do it. Take those boys and that. But at the moment we haven't funding.
Most often people wonder if Down syndrome can be treated. There is a feeling that things will be different if children born with this genetic malformation are completely liberated from the condition.
Treatment is something that is or improve your life condition. When I said it can be treated, I was saying that the condition will never change genetically. But treatment is also all the conditions that we can offer physically, socially, and even psychologically to these children for a better quality of life. Having said this, there's enough we can offer to them. And we can offer to them enough in our country, not expect coming from abroad, because such burdens need to be taken care with respect with the socio-cultural specificities. It means that a child with Down syndrome will grow with more mental balance if he stays around his relatives instead of being sent away, what people would think of evacuating abroad, and a healer who's close to the culture will be more appropriate to offer good services to this child with Down syndrome than somebody who comes from Japan or from another country, from another culture. It is now a holistic package that we should offer to this. And we will see that sometimes people with Down syndrome could live better than those who haven't got the syndrome, provided the conditions are put together, respecting the peculiarity of their problem.
Every child living with Down syndrome needs society's unconditional love and acceptance. This will replace anxiety, sorrow, and anger with different emotions.
I keep telling them, accept us first. Because I have the belief that if you have any child and lock that child up, you don't give that child love, that child cannot grow up to be intelligent. So you have to accept the child, show her love as any other child.
The birth of a child with Down syndrome should therefore awaken hope instead of despair in the families and in the society.
But as regards getting subvention, which we need, Because if these children were going to government, they'd be free. If they were going to a government school, they'd be free. We've tried everything. The social service lady makes sure each child has a disability card. That means they're helped medically. They can go to a government school free. But the children here cannot cope in the educational system here. The numbers in the classes are too big. They need specialised teachers for these children in those classes as well. And that has not been set up here yet. But if they can pay them if they're in a government, why can they not help us with these children here?
Lorsque le promoteur d'une structure sociale, nous les appelons communément les œuvres sociales privées, qui peuvent être des institutions, qui peuvent être des associations et toute autre entreprise qui s'est organisée et a entrepris d'apporter un accompagnement spécialisé ou non en faveur des personnes socialement vulnérables, notamment ceux victimes de la trisomie 21. Je dis qu'ils rentrent dans ces structures-là et ces structures-là, pendant leur exercice, bénéficient des subventions de l'État. Des dispositions sont prises pour que nous établissions, par exemple, des cartes nationales d'invalidité. Et nantis de ces cartes nationales d'invalidité, ils peuvent bénéficier, si c'est dans le système d'éducation publique, des mesures d'exemption des frais de scolarité et d'examen.
My dream is that I should see all children living with Down syndrome empowered in their respective areas of potentiality. I say this, and I'm a bit sad in my heart because even in Cameroon, we still don't have a lot of, resource centers, a lot of institutions where these children can be able to develop their potentials. And so when I'm talking like this, I'm also hoping, that people who have the power to do things, they can be able to do something. Our policy makers, we need institutions of learning where these children's potentials can be developed.
A child with Down syndrome is a child. They are sometimes marvelous and very seductive. A child with Down syndrome is the child of the parents. And as the artist said, be he green, yellow, or blue, a child is a child, and we have to take care of them, love them. And sometimes parents, I used to tell them, parents with children with Down syndrome are surprised of the way of affection that these children bring to the family. So a child is a child, and we have to offer his best service and affection than as he deserves.
You do not need to love Down syndrome to love your baby. Focus on the life, not on the label.
Shu fai wo shu vo wi tang rin tang rio.